All right, guys, welcome to the show. Special guests, we got Gilbert, Robert, and Caesar. Um, hey, man, we're just gonna sit here and talk a little bit, see what's going on.
Yeah, hey, thank you guys for having me again. I haven't seen you guys in a little while. Probably been about what, 6 months or so, 7 months since I came by. Um, I just thought it'd be a good idea to stop by and ask some questions. I'm just a little concerned about what's going on. I pay some attention to the agenda and hear the community speak, but I think I need to start asking some more questions, and try to get some answers to some things that I'm concerned about.
Yeah, like what's going on with the.
Yeah, where we're at as far as the wrestling facility.
Yeah. So, I mean, have you heard anything,
I know,
Caesar?
Caesar, you did the agenda item.
No, I haven't heard other than it was looking like they were possibly gonna push it up a little bit, but I haven't got an exact timeline. And they said they were gonna reach out, and nobody's reached out.
Yeah, that's my main concern. There is nobody's reached out to us. I don't know how far this thing is moving along in the design process, but somebody out there that doesn't know anything about wrestling or a wrestling facility is designing that, or do we have some say or input? Is that something we can ask the board for?
Yeah. You should be able to ask for some input. And actually, hopefully, somebody will watch this video and kickstart a conversation. Or anybody can really kickstart it.
Or another agenda item for an update.
Yeah, you can do that too. You can call a board member, or we can do it ourselves. And anybody. So here's the thing: anybody can ask for an agenda item, and it should go on the agenda.
Yes.
There's always going to be pushback, but it should go on there.
I know that it was on the master facilities plan, like number 5 or 6, and I've heard somebody say it's 10 years, but it's got to be done sooner than that.
Yeah, we don't know if it's 10 years. We don't know the time.
Right.
But
well, we'd like to know, so that's why we're here.
Yeah.
Let's get an update.
Well, our kids deserve it as from day one. Our kids, our staff, from our wrestling teams. But more important, our kids deserve it, and they've earned it.
Yeah, I think it's important. Important to get something like this done. It only is going to benefit the community and athletics even more. And now the way things are in this world, kids need as much stability, as much consistency as possible. It's tough out here right now, and the social media creates some issues for those mental health issues and anxieties and whatnot. And kids got to stay busy. They got to exercise. They got to be competitive, or learn to be competitive and push themselves, and build character. That's what happens in an athletic setting when you have a mentor or a coach that cares. They're worried about not just the wins and losses, but are you growing as a person? I think Selma Wrestling is a great example of that. It's about discipline in there, and respect and sacrifice. Those are the things that your coaches are speaking about on a regular basis. So if you can apply that to regular life, that's everything that adults deal with.
Yeah. And everybody seems to support wrestling. Selma Wrestling, man.
Yeah.
I've talked to a couple council people. Selma's well known. Guys at work, we did a video back in the summer. Guys at work were talking about it.
Well, so our trustees who work for us, the community,
Supposed to work for us.
please work on it. Show us some progress, give us some updates. Do what you were elected to do, and contact Mr. Sepulveda, Mr. Bejarano. Let us know just an update on how far along it is and how much movement's been made.
Yeah, and that's not asking for a lot, because a lot of people were supporting it. A lot of people showed up. So yeah, there should be another update on just that. They'll probably do it in a group, but a lot of us are interested just on the wrestling part. Well, on everything, but the wrestling especially.
Yeah.
Anything else, guys?
Nothing else?
Well, it's just so impactful for our kids, and it's number one. It should be a priority. There's a lot of stuff going on in the district, but that's been behind about 20-30 years, as we said before.
Yep.
And they deserve it. And the money's there, so take care of it, as it was promised to our kids.
Anything else, Rob?
No, I just, I'd like to see some progress. I'd like to see some answers. I'd like to sit with somebody and ask a few questions if at all possible. If not, like we said, agenda item seems like, that could be the way to go.
Yeah, agenda item for the community.
An update.
Yeah, an update for the community.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that would be a big deal. So hopefully it'll happen.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks,
guys.
Robert, for
Thanks,
coming.
Rob, for coming, man.
Yeah, thanks
Pretty
for having
awesome,
me.
man.
Yeah, we'll see you guys around.
Cool.
Okay,
All right,
Good
brother.
Okay, man.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Rob.
This is the Roger Orozco Show.
All right, guys, welcome to the second part of the show. The star, Ashton, and we got Ronald and Lopez. Yeah. Hey, so we're gonna do the video on basically how these guys have been doing this year and what we think they represent, or who they're representing more of with their big boats.
Okay, I'll start it off. Miss Alanis, she is constantly using the word kids and parents in her conversations in the board. To me, that means that's constantly on her mind. She wants to get the most for the children and the parents. She is the voice at the table of the kids. She speaks up for them, she protects them, she votes for them, and she hasn't changed. Her stance has just been the same for years now, and she's just consistent. So to me, Miss Alanis is all kids.
Facts. Before Miss Alanis was elected, she always was asking about how can we improve the community, our kids, our schools. So, hands down, 100%, in my opinion, based on facts and her votes, that she's for our kids and our parents.
Yep. Yeah, Alanis, by her voting record, and I'm going off of union contract and what she said, what she did. They tried to pay, partial pay a salary out of Measure L after promising the people they weren't going to do that. She kept the word on that one.
Integrity
And test scores. And she talked about accountability. And then, so with the money and accountability, the two biggest things, and she talks about it. So yeah, I've been very, very happy with Mrs. Alanis, and I think it's all geared towards the kids from that stance and that voting record.
True conviction for kids.
True conviction. And not only that, for the parents and the taxpayer. When she says it, she's been doing it.
Yeah.
That's a really big deal. Working for us, working for the kids. That's how you work for the kids.
Yeah.
For the parents. So yeah, I would say Mrs. Alanis' kids, her, how she's been voting this year has been driven more for kids in our.
And she kept her word on that from
Yeah.
day one.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is our opinions,
Yeah.
right? Because some people will cry, but these are our opinions on what we've seen. Okay.
Okay.
Then we'll go, Mr. Fedor.
Mr. Fedor, I think he got on a road he can't get off. I think he was talked into, or he was coerced down this path that is not for the kids. He may think it is, or he may kind of try to explain it that way, but he is more concerned about the adults. And to me, when you're talking the way he does, and he talks very little, that's another thing. Is that you don't hear anything out of these board members. They're quiet. They're too afraid to tell you where they stand because they can't defend it.
That's it. And
Yeah.
like you said, they're on a road and they can't jump off now.
Yeah, and they can't explain it.
Yeah.
So to me, this gentleman is not kids.
Well, maybe he's probably gonna push back on that. They're kids in a different way, right? So we want kids first.
Right.
with the money, the accountability. So kids first is like would be the contract and what are you going to do to people and what are you saying about the kids and we don't hear very much. It used to be all about the kids first, and it's not like that no more. It's very odd. It's very noticeable. So not to jump on that, but just so.
I have absolutely nothing nice to say, but he's not for kids. His voting track is evident.
Yeah, on the big tickets.
On the big tickets where it matters for the kids, he's not for kids. Yeah, it's very disappointing.
Oh, definitely disappointing for sure.
Disappointing.
They, I think he was, he tried, I think, but he just doesn't have enough in him to put it down,
In my opinion,
he's not a leader.
they don't know how to be. He doesn't know how to be a boss.
Yeah, he's not a boss.
Every one of these people on here are boss. They're the boss of the superintendent. The
Yeah.
superintendent isn't their boss.
Yep.
They can't expect the superintendent to fix what's broken that they have the authority to fix. They have the authority to fix it, and they're failing to fix it. They're trying to ask somebody to fix it that doesn't have the authority to fix it.
Yeah.
That's the issue, in my opinion.
And also that they work for us. So, yeah, she has been, they haven't been. And what we mean is they know where we would stand, right? They knew that contract, what the people were told a certain thing. She kept the promise, and then these guys knew. This guy flipped, and then these guys didn't keep the promise.
So Fedora, we would put.
With those big ticket items like the contract, the money, and the accountability, it's more for the adults. He's helping the adults more by his votes.
And his votes prove it.
Yeah, the votes. It's all about the votes, right?
And I
Doesn't
believe-
matter. Oh, go ahead.
I think there was a video that he says every percent you give to the adults, you take from the kids.
Yeah.
And he still went ahead and voted for the contract.
Yeah, that was a timer. So, yeah, no, you're right because, he knew that. Let's just say this: they gave out more money than what the public was told was going to happen at the time. When we were there, it was going to be the 8%, and that was it because you asked the taxpayers for Measure L. And then when they changed the salary schedule and then gave out bonuses, that smashed everything. Now, she didn't vote for it, but these four did, so he did. And what does more money mean? What you give out bonuses and then and you change the salary schedule? That doesn't help the kids. You're taking more from the kids. And then let's not forget that 8% was very super fair. I mean, come on, who gets that? And then they got salary schedule changes. We don't even know the percentage on that. They don't even know.
And what did our kids get out of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they gave out bonuses.
Yeah, and then.
What do our kids get out of
and
it,
then
in your
the-
opinions?
And then the
4%.
test scores are.
And that's the other thing. The test scores are horrific. So this is my personal opinion, and I don't know how you guys feel, but with the test scores so bad, and they've known it, and they talked about it, they've known it, and basically you gave out a big chunk of money, you've pretty much rewarded
Bad behavior.
Yeah. So I mean, why would anybody have to think they would have to try? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's disgusting to me. So it's been adults with those big ticket items.
So Hoda, he was for the kids. When I served with him,
Okay, we gotta come this way.
our conversations were about children and getting the best for the community and the best for the kids. And it changed. And why, I don't know. I don't know if it's because he had to take a leadership role, or maybe he's thinking of some kind of other thing for himself. I'm not sure, but I don't see his votes and his actions or even his language in the meetings supporting the kids as much as he used to. So I would say adult for Sohoda.
Yeah, in my opinion, just flipped. Easiest way for me to put it, flipped for the adults, not not the kids. And the votes, again, I keep reverting to that, but the votes to the contracts that hurt our kids, because if you give a penny to the adult, that's a penny you don't give to the kid. It's very disappointing, in my opinion.
Yeah, so I'll say the same thing.
Adults.
Yeah, the adults.
It's for the adults, not the kids.
You got union contract, and then that's another thing. The contracts they're already probably talking about in the next one. So yeah, no. And you know what's interesting is that Nick was with Rosemary and us at the same time, and so he knew everything that was going on. She kept her promise, but he didn't. So that only favors the contract, Measure L, even the summer school money, man, which was horrendous. That all takes care of the adults. And I didn't hear anything about holding people accountable for the test scores except for Mrs. Alanis. So so adults. Now, Mr. Medina.
I think Mark, just like Fedor, he tried, made an attempt in the beginning. He said he couldn't justify the contract for the teachers. I mean, he said that in an open meeting. But when it came to vote for it, I don't think he had enough, or he talked himself into it.
Probably they were talked into it.
Or he was talked into it, or he talked himself into it. He said, it'd be a lot easier just to go for it. And he didn't have what it takes to make a tough decision. And the tough decision is, you've had enough money, you've always had enough money, let's spend this one-time money on the kids, let's build a wrestling facility, let's build opportunities, let's get much more...
a choir room, something for our kids.
Yeah, I mean, you could do anything. You could police force on campus, our own.
More safety.
I mean, there's a lot of things we could sit there and think about a lot of things, but at the end of the day, it takes money.
And they used it for the adults, not our kids.
Yeah, so the union got more, which means the kids get less.
Right.
And to me, it all goes. Oh, you want to say something?
Not good.
To me, it all goes around in a big circle, right? The reason why, and I'm really mad about. I'm not mad right now, but I am pissed about Measure L. And I told all those dudes, and they all know it. Measure L, there was a promise made. We were there. The promise was no more than that 8%. So I go back to it. I already said it. I go back to it. These guys so far, these allowed it to change. Yeah. And I told one of them to his face that, hey, that's basically lying to us.
Yeah. Well, I think he said, well, the attorney said it was okay, so it's okay.
Oh yeah. There was a meeting talking about the Measure. That was about a Measure L.
Yeah.
Paying a salary out of there, and there was a partial payment out of there, but it didn't even matter because Alanis at that meeting had said, hey, the community was told no salaries, and she's right. But so she didn't vote for it, but these guys did, and she says it, and they hear it, they don't care. They didn't care. Right. Horrific. Horrific.
So Medina would be adult?
Yeah, adults. If you talk about money, and I haven't heard him talk about accountability, so that only favors adults.
Yep. And
at this point, they can talk all they want, but if their vote goes the other way around, it don't matter.
Yeah, that's it. Trustees.
Okay, Rogers, what does it say?
Trustees.
Okay, these are all trustees. They're entrusted by the community that voted them in to do what's best for their children.
Yes.
So you are a trustee. You're entrusted by the community to serve the children with your vote.
And a lot of them got elected by the message they delivered at somebody's doorstep.
Right.
And that message is totally the opposite, in my opinion, the way you voted.
Yeah, you didn't go up to the door and say, hey, I'm going to give more to the union.
I'm going to give more to the adults and not the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so when there's extra money,
sickening, man.
Yeah, so there's more money
that
you can use, and you tell people, hey man, more for the kids. But then a group of people now, or let's say the board has changed, and some of them, or majority of them now, say, hey, or with their votes, gave more out to the union, right? So it's not just 8%. There was a 4% supposedly one time, who knows? And then they changed the salary schedule, so we do know that. And then talking to some of these guys, they don't even know the percentages on it. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's a big deal too. You don't even know.
Yep. And then Kessler, union.
So Mrs. Kessler, a nice person, but she's been part of a union for a long time. The union contract, you know, I mean, if we betted money, I would always throw it on her to support it.
But
Now they don't have to. Now, right? So one of the things that happens with the union contract, and I think one of these guys had said before, hey, that's not how it works in the school system. Like referring to, you just give them money. No, man, you don't have to do that. I mean, that might be standing old practice, but you don't have to do that. You remember? I mean, the last time we were there, it was 2.2 something. We want more for the kids, and I think that's the biggest deal. Is I've only heard like about accountability and more for the kids from this one when it came to the contract and the test scores, and I didn't hear that from the other four, unless I didn't hear it. They said it, but I was paying attention. I haven't heard that.
Please, if we get it wrong, just
Yeah,
call.
let us know. Yeah, so
We can correct it.
yeah. So and somebody had said to me one time, hey, you guys like Alanis? How come you guys don't like the other guys? I go, oh, first
She kept
of all,
her word from the beginning.
Exactly. So that's what it is.
She has
Integrity.
conviction.
She has conviction.
Integrity.
She hasn't changed to
no, she's
who
the
she
same.
was. She's the one that said, hey,
Yeah.
this district has promised the people. She sat at a meeting,
Well,
superintendent
she's-
at that time.
She's clear on who she represents.
Yes. Yes. She's representing the people.
She's clear on it.
So
where
we-
he is not clear, these people are not clear.
I'm not clear. Yes. So, yeah, that's exactly right. So she stayed the same. So that's why we talk good about her, right? That's why I do, right? Hey, she keeps her word.
Right.
You know, hey, I knew this guy. He hasn't kept his word to me.
Right.
You know, this one changed how he's his stance on certain things, and this one didn't keep his word. And then this one I already kind of figured what it would probably do, and I don't like the way it's going. But it's because of these guys. Now, if these guys were all doing the same thing, like saying, hey, we're going to hold you accountable. Hey, we're not going to vote for an outrageous contract.
Yeah.
And that gives out more money than
the kids
the
get
people
out
we're
of it.
talking about. Yeah. And then this one would have problems because it would be against everybody else. And then, see, that's how it works. Instead, it's gone the other way where you got these guys with the money and not talking about accountability. And that's another big thing is it's going to stay the same way until they all start talking about kids first. If you go to a meeting, they say, hey, this is about our kids. Kids are coming first. We're going to want more for our kids. Things will change. But when they don't say that, then they're sitting down that road, that path you're talking about, and they're pretending that things are great. And the two biggest things, I don't care what they do on a daily basis. I don't really give a shit. It's the money and it's the accountability. That's everything. If you don't have one or the other, they go both hand in hand. And I haven't heard it from those four down. And so that's why I do like Mrs. Alanis. Hopefully she keeps doing the same kind of good job. And these guys need to change, or we need to change them.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Parents, if you don't like it, if you feel your kids are a priority, make
All
a
of us,
change.
man, yeah.
Make a change.
Yeah.
There's an election coming up next
Yep.
year.
Oh yeah. So Mrs. Alanis and Mr. Sahota. I mean, Mrs. Alanis is, man. I mean, that's a no-brainer. You know, we just gotta get people to know her record. You know, she's got a really good record in what she said. I won't even talk about the other one. Yes, and then these guys will be in a couple years.
Her voting for our kids
Yeah.
is her record.
So she didn't vote for that union contract. She says, what do our kids get out of it? What do our parents get out of it? She's the only one that said that. When the test scores came out, she's the only one that I heard say who's going to be held accountable.
Your kids' test scores.
Yeah, how our
Every
kids are doing
single
it.
one of our
And
kids
Yeah.
is Selma test scores.
Your kids' test scores.
the CASP, the state testing. Yeah, she talked about it. And so very disappointed on these dudes, man. And they're probably going to see the video and they're going to cry about it, but you've done it to yourself. We're the constituents. We're the ones paying attention. You work for us. You don't like it, too damn bad. You guys,
Correct it.
Yeah, you guys haven't done a good job when it came to the big ticket items, the money, and what's your plan for accountability?
Our kids it's a generational issue, in my opinion.
Oh, with the money?
With the money.
Oh yeah.
You can't fix that.
No, it's big money, man. It's big money.
Yeah. And I personally feel that they knew better, but they just couldn't do it. You know what I
Couldn't do
mean?
it.
They were a lot of talk and a
Yeah.
lot of cowboy stuff, but when it came down to it,
They didn't do it.
they couldn't do it. They couldn't hold the line for the children.
So let's let everybody remember this. Caesar was an ex-SRO on campus. You know, he's done the parent club, he's done the school site council, very, very active. And remember, one of the biggest things I remember about this guy is we go back to the wrestling thing when he pounded on that podium and he said, "Our kids deserve it." That's what the board should have been saying. So he's in tune, he's in touch. It's all about the kids. You were on the board, I was on the board.
Twice.
All the sacrifice that our parents have done for our kids, and I'm talking about the rest because he brought it up.
Yeah.
And with the exception of Miss Alanis, first time around, she's the only one that supported that.
Yeah. So the first you're talking about when you made an agenda item.
Yes.
An agenda item. She was asking for, hey, who would second, an action item, and nobody said nothing.
Crickets.
Yeah. The next time, okay, then you get a couple guys do it, but after the pressure came, after a parent had to put it on, and the wrestling community came. So it was after the fact, after they were basically, I'm not going to say forced, but there was a lot of pressure on them. They didn't do it when they had the opportunity to do it.
When it's simple, it's for our kids. That's where the money
Exactly.
needs to be funneled to.
Exactly.
Things for our kids.
So, I mean, maybe people see things different. I'm one of those guys that our kids come, like you said before, they eat first. So when our facilities are shit, and a lot of it is, and you ask for Measure L, you don't give out bonuses. You don't give out more than what you promised everybody.
Right.
So these four led the march to change that promise.
Yeah.
And so our kids in the future get a lot less.
And the thinking was, maybe if we give them everything, maybe our kids will learn a little bit more.
Well, that's what somebody told you. Yeah, one of these members told them that.
I know.
It's ridiculous. Maybe they'll try harder. Wait a minute,
maybe
bro.
they'll try harder to raise the test scores if we give them everything.
Yeah, and
Well, I don't know
yeah,
what world that works in, but
it didn't work. ELA
No.
went down, according to the CASP. Yeah, it's disturbing, but anyway, I want people to know that the way they voted with the money and the way they're not talking about the kids and accountability, that this is the one, and this is why we talk good about her, because she kept it. Now, if she was doing the same thing,
We'll put her
we'd
around.
blast her
Yeah.
too.
right.
But she has
She
it.
understands.
And we told her.
Yeah, these guys all know. The last time I got any kind of information with Mark, I told him, hey man, I love you, because I really do like Mark.
And
but I was going to
they're
hammer
good
him.
people.
I was going to hammer him by his votes.
I think they're all good people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're not good bosses.
No, yeah, they're not.
Mm.
Yeah, and
And
they had the opportunity.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to, is that she's a boss.
That's it.
That's it.
They're all following a system.
Look,
Yeah, they're all-
look, every one of these individuals are in a boss position, but they don't act like bosses. They are the boss of the superintendent. The superintendent isn't the boss of them.
Now, if they want to say they're the boss, these four, so what do these four bosses think? Give more money to the adults, more than their kids, because that's what they did with
They
the
proved
salary.
it.
Yeah, salary schedule changes, and bonuses. What they did with that Measure L position, summer school. The money with summer school was outrageous, man. Oh man. But anyway, so that's their leadership right there. That's what they've done, because they've okayed it. Yeah, no, you're right. All right. So anyway, we're gonna wrap it up. We don't want to go too long, and that's it, man. Anything else, guys? Thank you, Mrs. Alanis. And
Merry Christmas.
yeah, Merry Christmas, man. Merry Christmas. All right, thanks, guys, for watching.